Okay.
So Larry Goldberg and I have been chatting in the green room here, talking about the stock action today because it was pretty wild. We closed, of course, on Friday at 444, I think, or 443, something like that on Friday. We shot up to 500 and I'm sorry, 451, and then settled back down back in the 443 range. But altogether, that was a pretty interesting day, Larry. You were noting some specifics that might have been valuable for people to pay attention to.
Yeah, so as we got into the extreme volume, extreme price of 450, volume was pretty good. There were about 100,000 shares settled at that price, which is actually not bad at all. Um, but the actual volume for the day was very muted. It was below average and nothing like the big volumes of previous highs. So I think we're going to see it drift around these prices. I think the prices are kind of settled for the um, announcement of the production and sales for the quarter, and unless China reports a surprise number, which
Mhm.
could happen, but
Mhm.
it's the surprise is only going to be 3 to 5,000. But the surprise could be indicative of demand for the long Y. So everything's going according to book. The consensus on deliveries is low.
Yeah.
I think we're going to beat the consensus quite handily, but everybody now expects it to be beaten quite handily. What's interesting is, do we beat the Troy numbers? So the Troy public numbers from last week are, I think, very conservative. I think we're going to beat Troy.
All right, let's talk about those numbers. So the street is, depending on who you pay attention to, 444, 447, somewhere under 450. Then you've got Troy, who raised his number again this morning and says he reserves the right to raise it again tomorrow
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Wednesday after.
That's going to be dependent on China. Yeah.
But he's at 447 now. I'm sorry, 470,
474. Yeah.
474.
472 or
He was
470.
472. He raised it, 476. So he's
That's
at
right.
476 now. We have got the whisper number. They're saying that the whisper number is 470. And the betting odds are at 505. So we have a pretty good range there between
505 is high. I think yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's possible.
yeah, both Brian's are at 500 and change. Brian White is a little under. He hasn't given his final number. And there's not a lot of people playing the game, Larry. Everybody's decided that the numbers aren't that important, I guess. Normally we would have
I
a list,
decided that I decided that 2 quarters ago.
right? We used to have a long list of people that were making the guess. And I even asked Rock, I said, go find me everybody that's made any kind of comment. It was like, five total, counting all the estimates, even from the pundits. So anyway, but that's kind of the range. But you know what's funny, Larry? Nobody's talking about the energy number at all.
Well, I've seen an individual, guess at 13 gigawatt.
Yeah, there's the guess. It's Randy Kirk. That's the only guess out there that I've seen. And I'm 13 to 15, but 13 would be perfectly fine with me. And it's just interesting. I mean, I look at 100 articles, well, I probably look at a total of 1,000 headlines a day. And I look at like so many articles, and everybody's talking about the car number, but nobody talks about the energy number. And if we go from 9.5 to 13, that 3.5 gigawatts would be more than a really big beat on cars in terms of profits.
Yes.
Seriously a lot. Like a $500 million or something.
Yeah, it's possible that we'll see 13. I'm a little skeptical. I didn't see a big jump last quarter in
No, it
back
went down.
orders.
Went down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would tell me that we should get a bigger number just from Lathrop, and we should be starting to see something from China. So
Yeah,
you add,
it's
add that
possible.
together, 13 seems to be in the ballgame. It's a possible number. Anyway, that's where all that is. Now we had Benchmark came out with their number this morning, or their thoughts, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
They've reiterated a buy rating. They've maintained their 475, so they didn't increase it. And they also retained their top pick for 2025. But their number, the shipment number is only 442. So they've got a high number on the stock estimate, but a low number on the shipment number. They said, of course, they're saying it's all about the broader outlook, including autonomy and new vehicle launches, with the target suggesting approximately a 7% upside from the current 440. So anyway, this gives us about 5 megabulls that are over 400 or over 500, and then of course Dan Ives at 600.
Yeah, I like Dan Ives' number. If he's talking about within a year, I think
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think we'll be over 600. I think next year is quite a formative year. And, I took Elon at his word in terms of this being a transition year, this being the year of change. And I think he's delivered on that. I think everybody now realizes that this is a different Tesla. This is not an auto company. Everybody's, repriced it. The market has repriced it. So we'll see.
And of course, we've seen a lot more. We saw yet another incident over the weekend of the president and Elon having a meal together. So
Yes.
it's nice to see that this is continuing to go along smoothly. I'm not sure. I'd love to be a bug on the wall, but hopefully they're 100% buds again.
Yeah. I think they will be.
Sawyer Merritt says that Tesla has opened its first next-gen V4 supercharger with V4 cabinets capable of 500 kilowatt charging speeds for cars. It's also capable of fast charging for Cybertruck, and it's also it's big enough to handle the semi-trucks.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. And the implication here is that maybe it's going to be the only charger that they start putting out in the future. Is that what you gathered from this?
Oh yeah, I think that just like when they went to V3, every new implementation was V3. I think now every new implementation is going to be V4. They don't like to manufacture multiple versions. They're going to go to V4 and that's it. And it makes sense because the car of the Cybertruck and future cars are going to have a larger battery, is going to need faster charging and so on. So yeah, makes all the sense in the world.
Now on these, if they charge 200 miles in 15 minutes, that's not enough time to get inside the hamburger joint, get a hamburger and get
I know. It would change my travel habits.
Well,
because I'm in my new house.
Yes.
And I haven't moved my chargers and my facility for the Cybertruck to run the house.
Oh yeah.
Yet from my old house, and so we don't have any chargers here. So what happens is that since my wife does all the running around, at night I charge her car from the Cybertruck.
Oh, I see.
Until the Cybertruck runs out of charge. Then I go to a charging station, I charge it up to 80%. So the Cybertruck's really performing great duty here.
Yeah, that's good. It's really something. You may be the only person in the country doing this kind of a system.
I'm not so sure of that. I've heard it. I think other people are doing it.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's very, it's very handy that way. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
On the government, we got a couple of stories today, Larry. We've got a probable, according to the betting again. I just looked it up before we came on air because I thought the president was going to be meeting with the leadership, and I guess that meeting hasn't taken place yet. So we may have a government shutdown tomorrow night at midnight Eastern time. Is that worrying you?
Not at all. I think it would be very good if the government shut down and they used that as an opportunity to clean house. I'd like them to fire about a third of the employees.
About a third. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely serious. My druthers would be they fire 30% of the employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should be a post DEI cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody hired in the last 5 years, unless they're regarded as a critical resource, should be fired.
So last in, first out.
Yep. That would clean up most of the DEI hires. These people aren't doing any work anyway. This would be the ideal opportunity to do it. The courts would support the president, not the lower courts, but they no longer count because, Supreme Court has given them very clear rules, and I don't think they count anymore. And that will reduce dramatically government employment. Now, what it will do is it will temporarily increase unemployment. Mm-hmm. But that's a good thing because, these people have been, unproductive. Mm-hmm. Terribly unproductive. I'm talking about people's lives, so one has to be a little careful. This is going to put a lot of people out of work, people who will not easily get work again. Mm-hmm. Just because you work for the government doesn't particularly mean that private enterprise is going to snap you up. In fact, I think on the contrary. So it's going to be rough passage for these people, but, it's going to have to be done. So if they shut the government down and they fire, 20%, 25%, 33%, that range of people in the government, mm-hmm. I don't think we'll see a blip in terms of service.
No, I don't think so either. It might even get better. Especially with Elon in there with xAI, training them how to maximize or optimize their performances, because it's obviously extremely good for increasing productivity.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see. I don't know what will happen. It's kind of who blinks first. The Democrats are really digging their own grave. If they really think this is going to trouble, the administration, if they have to shut government down, I think they've got another thing coming, and I think they're going to hurt first.
Yeah, I think the longest shutdown was like 26 days. So it's not right. like it can't go on a long time without really any significant problems. And by the way, the stock market generally goes up when there's a shutdown.
There's a good reason for that. So we should hope for a 90-day shutdown.
Housing numbers are looking better, believe it or not. We had good housing numbers this morning. We had good housing numbers last week. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that the new home guys, the guys that are selling new homes, are dropping their pants in order to get sales. But also it's partially due that the mortgages are dropping, and they'll drop again today after the 10-year and the 10, 20, and 30 years all dropped big time, or the rates dropped big time today.
It's about time, right?
Is right. So there's an awful lot of conversation about what Trump is going to do about housing. Trump has made a couple of recommendations of what he thinks that maybe they could do. There's the talk about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac it becoming a public company. There's conversation about turning or selling some government land, especially government lands in the cities that aren't being used. That would help to make opportunities for housing where people want it. And also even a conversation about creating a brand new city someplace. What are your thoughts? Have you thought about housing at all? Do you have any thoughts about what should be done to be able to make it a little easier for the few folks actually in their 20s and 30s that have been kind of aced out of the market?
I think the biggest problem in the housing market today is mortgage rates, interest rates. I think that we would see a very significant, change in the mortgage market. I mean, if we were back at the 3.5%, 4% rate, or 3.5%, I think it would have to be like 4.5% to make sense. Even 5.5%. At those rates, I think the market would be unlocked. And those are pretty good rates for a 30-year term, amazing rates for a 30-year term. So we've probably got about a 1.5% to 2%. I mean, I've made a decision to put off selling my house until mortgage rates settle down at least to below 6%. We're not that far off, but I think that the market will take off at that point. We're above 6.125, I think, right now.
Right.
And below 6% is only like a 0.2%. I think at that point, the market kind of unlocks. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know what else can be done. Housing prices, the cost of building a house is pretty high today. How to approach that is, it's a question of industrial. We've never been able to industrialize the housing market, ever. I mean, manufactured homes are pretty poor solutions. They are not great solutions. And we haven't, despite many different systems I've seen, we haven't been able to ace it yet. It needs a Elon Musk type figure to revolutionize this. Still building stick-built homes. It's not the right way to do things.
So people talk about the permitting processes. They talk about
I agree.
All the different fees and things that are.
Well, you live in California, and that's a critical problem in California. I mean, since those fires, they've only approved 1 or 2 houses, despite all the commitments, promises. The Democrats got up and said, we have to do blah, 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 and we're going to do this, right? Blah, 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 blah. Here we are.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They can't get out of their own way. So that's, pretty bad in California. Whereas you go to another state, Florida, for example, cost of building is dramatically lower. Why? Because far less regulation.
Yeah, so some people have been saying the government should do this, the government should be doing that, and even Trump has said that he's got these ideas that he's thinking about doing. I put a post up today. I said I think it's the opposite. I think if we could get less regulation, if we could get the cost of the mortgage processing down and the title processing down. Because we got AI to do that now. We don't need to go through this.
I'm not sure that
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but that's marginal to the total cost. I mean, the mortgage processing, if it adds $1,000 to $5,000, to the average home, I would be shocked.
5,000 is probably about right. Yeah.
That's not going to do it. I mean, the thing that's going to do it is, no question the availability of land,
Mhm.
freeing up of the, freeing back up the regulations. I had my brother had investments in land around Charlotte. Took them 30 years to get some of that land approved. Can you?
It's just unbelievable.
30 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just crazy.
And if it's not this guy that has to, then it's that, agency. If it's not this agency, then it's that, and then it's that one, and but we have to do that. And then, how do you plan? How do you invest? How do you do this? If all of that would go away, they say, well, you can't have the Wild West. Yeah, but you can't have the bloody, socialist government, controlling the thing, because they're going to mess it up.
Yep, yep, yep. On a similar subject, the president put on some more tariffs today.
Ah,
He's been promising the pharma
well, it
ones.
is Monday, right?
It is Monday. So he's been promising the pharma ones, and we kind of thought he might do the furniture ones. And I think he might have mentioned the movie ones before, but he did all three today. So any thoughts on high tariffs for pharma, for furniture, and for movies?
Well, I live in North Carolina, so hopefully, this will benefit North Carolina. But I have to say, I
On the
don't see
pharma stuff, yeah.
the manufacturing of the furniture.
Oh, furniture.
We were
Oh,
the biggest furniture manufacturing. Maybe Indiana, sorry, yeah, I think we were the biggest furniture manufacturing the state in the country.
interesting. Okay.
In fact, High Point is just down the road from here, and the High Point market was like the big furniture market and it still is
Okay.
the biggest furniture market in the United States every year. So it would be wonderful, but kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it. I don't see how we could build the kind of furniture that they do in the Far East and compete.
Hmm.
And our forests have become cultivatable, because the ecological movement just
Yeah, yeah.
disallowed. And I may be talking out of the top of my head, because I maybe don't know the full facts, but that's my understanding.
It
So
seems,
I'm not sure North Carolina is ever going to leave high tech, manufacturing, for furniture again, but it could happen.
yeah, the thing I look at all the time because I was in, import export is that the cost of freight on furniture has got to be a massive, huge component of it. And I'm wondering if there might be some kind of a method of doing this, like we do with cars, where it might be final assembly in the United States in some of the
I'll
parts.
tell you something very interesting. There is a firm here founded by some ex-SpaceX people that are growing plants and are manufacturing wooden board for housing
Mm.
from those plants.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that's going to drop the cost of manufacturing local furniture by a dramatic amount, because they're going to be able to grow it here, eliminate in improving our agricultural sector, eliminating the transport of wood, and eliminating the, and possibly returning manufacture here. Now, they're starting, of course, with kind of this chipboard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very promising, and they're very serious people. And I have a friend who is, in the venture capital business, who's funding this
Oh,
one of
okay.
the funders. So it's possible. Anything's possible with technology.
Well, somebody should be able to outcompete IKEA just by providing instructions that somebody can follow. That would be enough right there, don't you think?
Well, I think Optimus will be able to follow the instructions.
That's right. So Larry, before we get to the numbers, it would not be right if we didn't talk about the president's 12 point, 15 point, I forget, suggestion, method, supposedly done deal peace plan for Israel and Gaza. He says everybody signed off on it and waiting for Hamas to say yes or no. Are you encouraged? Are you optimistic? What do you think?
No.
No optimism.
Since 1967, I've never heard the Arab side accept any reasonable deal. That's a lie. 1973, Sadat did.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, I've never seen a reasonable deal being accepted. Every reasonable deal put on the table has been declined by them. And listen, the Israelis are not without blame. You know, they occupied the West Bank and they continue to occupy, to create settlements there. That's not helpful. So these are very, very intransigent people, both Arabs and I will have to say the Israelis. But as far as Arabs concerned, all I know is that they elected a government back in the 70s, and they were going to have elections every how many years?
Right.
Haven't had an election yet. So, you know, some of the Western powers declared Palestine a state,
right,
and recognized it. Come on, guys, that's not a state.
not anything close to being a state.
Not even a state of mind. I mean, you've got every sect competing against the other for what they think is the state and who they think is leading the state.
Yeah.
And as far as Israel is concerned, I mean, you know, they also need to get their stuff in order and you know, settle down and face the fact that they have to make some sort of peace. Gaza is a difficult situation because, you know, it looks like it's been occupied by these extremists, and these extremists have taken control, and they are absolutely without any sense of compromise. Or you know, they want it all and they want it now, and they're going to continue fighting. So who knows? They say that they've accepted the deal, but
Israel's accepted it. I haven't seen that Gaza has made a decision.
I think Trump said that they accepted the deal, but okay. I haven't seen any evidence of it.
I know that he said if they don't do it, he's just going to unleash Israel and tell them to do what they have to do.
No. And I think that's what's going to happen, to be honest. And it's not going to be a good thing.
Not going to be a good thing. Yeah, never is. All right, so let's check what's happened. Unless you got anything I left out, Larry. Did I leave anything out?
V14.
Which V14? Yeah, well.
The week of V14 is upon us.
It is. It is.
I mean, as of, you know, just 2 days' time, V14, we're in the month of V14.
Yes.
Seminal moment. I mean, we'll discover whether or not this is real. This is really, you know, robotaxi, and whether we can get on with it. So very important. Very, very important.
Yeah. A lot of catalysts this week. Huge number of catalysts this week. So we'll see when the 14 comes out. I'll be very interested to see the videos. Will you be doing a video, Larry?
No, I don't do videos of the. It's too much work. I enjoy it. I form my own conclusions, and that's.
We'll ask you. We'll be sure to ask you on the next show. Of course, you know what happens if the government shuts down, Larry. There's no employment numbers on Friday. So then I don't know.
Well, I mean, they can't be more wrong than the current employment figures. I mean, seriously, I don't read them anymore.
Right, but it may mess up our weekend plans because then Kathy may or may not do a show,
She'll do a show
Oh,
for
she'll do a show
sure.
anyway.
Oh yeah, she'll
All
do
right.
a show.
All
I
right.
mean, she's been traveling. I have to say, she's been traveling, so we'll see.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, what we ended up with, Larry, 443.21 was Tesla's final number before the end of business. And then in the after hours, we've come down just a tad, but we're still at 442. So I'd call that pretty solid. I think 440 has become the new kind of the new floor, barring any significant things going on. And let's go over to my favorite subject, the bonds, see if it's continued to be good news there. In the after hours, it's unchanged at 414. So here's my claim, Larry.
You think under 4?
I said it wouldn't go above 415. That was my strong number, and it did, but it was only for 3 days. So I'm saying that's pretty close. Anyway, we're back under 415 again at 414.
Yeah.
And like I said, the 20-year came down today to 469, 30-year down to 4.7. So those are good numbers. And then oil also came down big time, over $2.30 today, back down to 63. So that's really where we've been for a long time. I think everybody would be happy if it stayed between 60 and 66. That seems to be kind of the oil producers are reasonably happy.
Look, there was a time just a few months, a few quarters ago, we're hoping it wouldn't go over 80.
Yeah. Yes. And I remember when we were then a couple of months after that, when we were at 70, and I said, sell oil. It's not going to stay above 70. And I was right on that one too. Natural gas is now bumped all the way back up to 326. If I knew how to play natural gas, Larry, this is a day trade thing. You could make money on natural gas.
Actually, what you can do is lose your boots. You can't make money because there's no way, unless you're in that industry and you can see the flow of orders. If you have eyes on the flow of orders, there's no way you can tell what's going to happen with natural gas.
Yeah. So it was down to 280 just a couple of days ago, and now it's back above 327 almost. So bouncing all over the place. All right, we got to figure out what's going to happen to gold, Larry. We need a new call.
4,000.
4,000. That's your new call. It's gotta stop somewhere. There's got to be a top.
I didn't see the top coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see where the top is going to, what was going to precipitate the top.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I don't have enough knowledge, I suppose. We know what's driving it is the central banks buying up so much of it, and also some of the consumers buying up a lot of gold. But man, 3861. Silver.
Who's the idiot who called 3,700 the top?
And then we've got silver at $47. 47.
Wow. Could have made a little bit of money on silver.
Man, telling you. Up 0.22 in the after hours. We got copper up 0.17, $4.90. I think I mentioned to you, Larry, the other day that this has to do with a mine that had a collapse of some kind of a landslide. And I think that's why we're seeing copper up these numbers.
But every country has a copper strategic reserve, so they should tap the reserve if they had a temporary incident.
It's only like up 6-7% from where it was.
Okay.
Dollar is down a little bit right now. Not a tad, but it's down a little bit. People are talking about the lousy dollar, Larry. Are you concerned about the dollar being this low?
No.
Okay.
I don't see I really don't see the risk. I think it's overblown. I think it'll return
back to the 10% or whatever that it's lost.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Bitcoin up 3,827. That puts it back at the 114 level, but that's still a long way from 122, 123.
I think the moon didn't come up at the right time last night.
Yeah, that's right. And Ethernet up 4.57 today.
Ethereum,
What I say?
Ethernet.
Ethernet. Ethereum. And the equities are barely changed. Dow up 0.03, S&P up 0.04, NASDAQ 0.06.
These are the after hour
These are the after hour numbers. Yeah. The dailies were up okay. They had been up more. Dow ended up 0.15, NASDAQ up 0.48, S&P up 0.26. Of course, now those are going to be all-time highs again for the NASDAQ and the S&P. Maybe for the Dow too, I'm not sure. There was an interesting, I think, did we talk about it on Friday? I'm not sure. One of the podcasts that you and I both watched was talking about how the magnificent 6 out of 7, not counting Tesla, all have PEs under 50. So that when we think about the S&P being too stretched, it's not really so crazy.
No, the S&P is not stretched at all. Earnings are very, very high.
Yeah. Yeah, I know who it was. It was actually Cern Basher on my show on Thursday night that showed those. And the high is NVIDIA at 50. And
I'm ready to buy NVIDIA again.
are you? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Mhm.
I actually, I played with the options and did quite well out of NVIDIA.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about rebuying NVIDIA for the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
I watched Jensen on this BG2 pod.
Yes.
I thought to myself, I'm such an idiot. I'm so short-sighted. I should have just gone in with NVIDIA after they lost those shares. But I think at 183, they're a steal.
Yeah. 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 This guy's extremely bright. We know that, of course. He's got the largest
He's
company.
been bright even when the shares were $7.61.
Yes.
I owned NVIDIA for years, literally for years.
Okay. Mhm.
And, I sold them when they went through the roof, when everything went through the roof in 21, in the midst of I just thought, there's no way the world's going to end, and there's no way the world is going to go into this gigantic revenue bubble. So I'll just sell out all my stock and then buy it when everything gets back to normal. Well, of course, I didn't buy it when it got back to normal. Why? I don't know why.
Yeah. I thought didn't you have a position earlier this year for a minute?
I did. I made money out of it. I literally for a minute. I bought it in advance of the. No, I bought it as a result of the collapse of the price.
Oh, yeah.
After the call, I said it always collapses after the call and it always recovers. So I bought it and it recovered, and I thought, oh, that did very well. But I'm so tired of these short-term trades based upon the stupidity of the market. The stupidity of crowds. I've stopped doing this kind of stuff. I used to do it with Tesla. I used to do it with NVIDIA. At one point, I was doing it. Yeah, I don't like doing it anymore.
You're too old for that now, Harry.
I am.
Yeah, I hear you. Boy, do I hear you.
I'll leave it to the clever guys.
You'll leave it to the guy. Actually, it's rough on the heart, this options trading and whatnot. Or at least
I don't really feel it.
you didn't really feel it. I was exhausted. I did it, as you know, I did it for a year, but I was making sometimes 2 and 3 trades a day, and it was exhausting. It was the hardest job. It was probably the hardest job I've ever done.
Really?
As far as a job, it's something that I was doing all day for like 6, 7, 8 hours. Anyway,
I find it soul destroying because I don't find it to add any value to anything.
yeah, yeah. I think the thing that I liked about it was it's another math game. It's another math. It's like watching your favorite baseball team, football team, whatever. So I was like, in and out, and can I guess it right? It's a little bit of gamble, a little bit of horse race. Yeah. So it was fun for a while, but nah, I'm never gonna do that again. All right, Larry, I have you save up your words of wisdom for this moment. So I don't know if you have any left.
I have nothing left for you tonight.
I, I mean, you have all weekend to think about it, Larry. You see. All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you. Actually, going to see you midweek, Thursday sometime. We're going to do a little show with you in Bradford with your new venture.
We
Uh,
have exciting information, exciting news, and
yeah.
I'm very pumped up about it. Very pumped up. I'm
All
very
right.
excited to tell you
We'll,
about
we'll do that on Thursday, so that'll be fun. All right. Thank you, Larry, as always, and to all of you out there. It's been great talking to you.